It only takes so many peanuts and corn. It's all enough to wish you were never born. Like a doo-doo ball killer. The doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. The doo-doo ball killer.
All right, there we go. Now you are over here, you know, on my humble little show. So, as I mentioned, there's an update on a Bayou crime report story that I've been following for quite some time. And this involves the former mayor of a little town called DeRidder, Louisiana. And it's not that far from where I am. No, I've been through DeRidder quite a few times. Never heard of a story quite like this one, but it has reached some amount of conclusion. So I was recently talking about it and thought, well, you know, I'll make use of that for the Nailsin Show as a Bayou crime report type thing, which I usually do with the Red Neckerton character and all that. But boy, it's such a groundbreaking story. Oh boy, the scandal and everything. So I just, you know, had to go ahead and make a thing of it. And primarily, hey, what am I doing? Well, we're just testing out the ability for Pat to hand off the show to my channel. And so that's what we've done. Well, not tonight, this morning. I can already see the sun. So I'd better hurry up because, you know, when the sun starts peering through the windows, it really washes me out even more than I usually am. So Nodex has hit the like button. That is excellent advice. And Mike Panzer says, good morning, Doug. Well, good morning to you, Mike. So, all right. It's only two came over. Well, did the best we could. Let me see. Go ahead and put the little super tip thing there. And, well, I don't have the... Did I ever put that in here? I guess not. Well, that's okay. I can do that in the... you know, OBS. So there it is. See? Cool, huh? Yeah. Except now it's double the super tip thingy, which, you know, I tend to like to do just so it spells it all out. Yeah. There, that's better. All right. Now you know. Super tip. Okie doke. All right. Got 19 now, so I guess that's enough to go ahead, you know, just go into the story and it's all over. After that, I don't know. I guess I'll read whatever's in the margin. Could do that. We'll just do a completely off the cuff live Nailsin news show, basically. Pell says, over here now, it transferred you once Pat ended stream. Cool. So it worked like it's supposed to. Isn't that nice? And D-Rex says, huzzah! Yeah, 19 now, 33 viewers. Now says 38. Holy crap, I guess it really did work more than I would have thought. But there you go. Sometimes things do work. Most of the time, at least in the world of Doug, sometimes known as Mr. Nailsin, they don't. They just don't. Well, I can't break up now. We got to get to this story about Misty. That's right. Misty Roberts. So, yeah, I've covered this for quite some time, and it's taken a while to get to her trial, but now it's over. Disgraced Louisiana Mayor Misty Roberts found guilty of having sex with son's 16-year-old best friend at booze-fueled filled party. A disgraced small-town Louisiana mayor has been found guilty of having sex with her son's 16-year-old best friend at a... Look, can't you be more creative with the headlines and not just use the first line of the article? But then again, can't I stop falling for that every time I read the articles, Anyway, the jury at Misty Roberts' trial reached a guilty verdict after deliberating for less than an hour. Boy, I think they'd already decided, So Roberts, the 43-year-old former leader of DeRidder, Louisiana, was convicted on charges of carnal knowledge of a juvenile and indecent behavior with a juvenile. So there she is, still kind of cute, but unfortunately, well, yeah, that's probably her kids. Oh, boy. The conviction comes after the boy she had sex with at the 2024 party testified in front of jurors that he was drunk when the sex crime unfolded. Roberts will have to register as a sex offender. Her sentencing is scheduled for, April. Carnal knowledge carries a sentence of up to 10 years in prison, whereas indecent behavior carries a sentence of up to 7 years. So does that mean she could be sentenced to 17? Because she's convicted on both offenses, which I don't know how you wouldn't, It's going to require carnal knowledge to have the indecent. Both is indecent behavior. That's weird how that works, but it does add to the charges. But I don't know. Maybe she'll get probation or something. Maybe have to do some time. Anyway, the jury saw previous testimony from several witnesses of the incident, including an interview of the son telling investigators he saw his mom hooking up with his pal through a crack in the window. Her daughter also testified she saw Roberts and the 16-year-old on top of each other. The disgraced mayor's best friend and former sister-in-law, Jill Weaver, testified to jurors that she had overheard the Roberts' son screaming that his mom effed his best friend after the drunken pool party when she was asked to help mediate the chaos. So she calls up her best friend, hey, listen, my son's really upset. Can you come help me deal with him? And like, huh? Well, yeah, all right. And she comes over there and it's this whole disaster, and he's screaming, my mom being my best friend. Holy crap. And this is really, more of the thing because her own children witnessed this. Oh, man. So anyway, after that night, the victim's mom texted Roberts about the possibility of her becoming pregnant. And Roberts assured the mother she was on birth control. Roberts' own friends told her to take the morning after pill. A local DoorDash driver also told the courtroom that they had delivered emergency Plan B contraception to her home in 2024, possibly in connection with the alleged tryst. Yeah, no doubt about it. So habit. Now, in the early articles, she assured the boy's mother that, don't worry about that. I'm on birth control, and then I better get the Plan B. So she does that. But at the same time, she also assured her she was on birth control. She said that she said, the sex really didn't get to that point. Like it wasn't full blown shot, and, but apparently, yeah, she was a bit fibbing there. She said, I better get the Plan B. So, well, after that, she resigned as mayor of DeRidder, a town of 9,800, days before her duty for arrest. I can't remember. I think she held on for a bit. So it was within the year. But I mean, I do remember this breaking and stuff. And then all of a sudden she's resigning and they said, hey, is this anything to do with these rumors about no comment? And then that was that. Unlike that representative in Texas who won his primary tonight, the one who had an affair with his campaign aide, despite them both being married to different people, and she set herself on fire. And he denied the whole thing until the text came out when he was asking her what's her favorite positions and all that sort of stuff. So, but there he is. He's the Republican candidate for that seat, damn near guaranteeing a Democrat victory there. So nice, huh? But at least Misty here realized, hey, I'm not fit for this job anymore. I did a bad thing. So she resigned. Yeah. Well, let's take a look at commentary. Floyd Freedom says in most states, except for the alcohol, what she did is not a crime. Well, that's, yes, different. Is the age of consent varies and all that sort of thing. So in some cases, yeah. But now for the alcohol, you should still be in trouble for that. So, but this is Louisiana, and you got to be 18. So doesn't mean it's right. In New York State, almost nothing is a crime. Yeah, well, there you go. It's the varies from state to state on the age there. But in Louisiana, we don't go for that. Anyway, he's meth pipe fridge styling raccoon says, I was 16 once. Couldn't be so lucky. Well, I get it. I mean, she's a pretty woman for, especially her age and everything. But, and drunk, all that stuff. Anyway, Spickety Lit says, after testifying, the victim went home. Okay, well, now look, she shouldn't have done it. Will she get, is it possible she's in the criminal jeopardy of 17 years for the carnal knowledge and the indecent behavior? Are they just give her like 5 years probation with time served or something? I don't know. But they're, still got to register as a sex offender. And then, of course, the absolute shame. You should be shamed. Embarrassment. And then really just destroyed her family there. I mean, that's really going to mess with those kids' heads. I mean, at least, they're in their teenage years. So it's not as, if they were like really young and walking in on that, just the absolute pathetic irresponsibility is just wide open. But other articles gave details. She was prancing around in her bikini and all that. You can't just chalk it off to, well, she got a little tipsy, you understand, and things got out of control. Oh, my goodness. Boy, did she mess up. I don't know. She organized this party and provided the booze for teenagers, and she's walking around in her bikini. She probably had her eye on this kid for quite some time, So, ew. So there you go. For now, I guess I don't know what else there would be, sentencing or something of that nature. But this ends the saga of Mayor Misty. Yeah, Misty Roberts. Pell, it says, it's like magic. Joe War says, best mayor in the USA. Well, there's probably some agreement there. Pell, if she gets married, the best friend will become his father. Oh, yeah. How weird would that be? His stepfather is this dude he hung out with. Jeez. because that's the thing. It's like this isn't just any kid from school. This is his best friend. So he was over at that house all the time, hanging out with her son. And she like, wow, who's this? And then she said, let me get some alcohol going here. And I'm going to get in my little itty bitty bikini. And she did, Pelle, what a way to help mediate the chaos. Yeah, I know. I'll call my best friend and sister-in-law. So yeah, she was already divorced, not because of this. Maybe that was another incident we just don't know about. But initially, I think they had text messages where her ex-husband said, you got to get everybody to shut up about this so they don't say anything, and then, because, all in all, you're a good mom. I'm like, what? And then in court, he said, do you still think she's a good mom? And no. So I don't, but the initial reaction, is he still like running cover for her and stuff? But not anymore. Pelle, new service, Uber abortions. Yeah, it's DoorDash is not just about a midnight snack. We can provide a drive-through abortion. Joe War, I've never cream pied a politician. Well, I'm sure some have. Pelle, shame. Nothing but shame. Yes, I'm afraid so. Mason in Portland, 1 Wood. Yeah, I know. She's a looker. Yeah. So, look, those of us who are guys, you reverse the genders. This is a way, way more horrible story. And whatever punishment she gets, she's going to get it. Well, but jeez, what a mess. But she should not have done this. In my humble opinion, I would advise that you ladies who are still pretty in your 40s, you just shouldn't do it. That's my best advice. Sure is. All the other stories are politics. I mean, I know she's a mayor. The Yankees World Series great, wins GOP House primary race. Well, good for him. Crenshaw loses. He's no longer going to be in Congress. Divorce found guilty with the son screaming. Yeah, we already covered the details in the final article for now. Jasmine Crockett, she lost her primary and accuses GOP of election meddling. That's not really the case. The case for her is actually a Stephen Colbert, who gave airtime to her opponent in the primary, but didn't give her equal time. And then he made it a big stunt that this was all Trump interference or some crap like that, because the show was put online instead. But no, there's a real case for his interference that she could have against him. But of course, hey, that ruffles the feathers of one of their, I was going to say big proponents of the party and all that. But yeah, Kamala Harris is slammed for hot take on regime change in Iran. Did she even know where Iran was and all that? 3 U.S. service members killed in the operation. Well, that's weird. It almost looks like a swarm of bees over it, but it's, the smoke. Trump warns U.S. will strike Iran with force that has never been seen before if regime carries out devastating attack. Well, that's it. Geez, I thought there were. Look, I need more embarrassing, scandalous stories, and they're not giving me any links to it. Well, I'll find something. Oh, I will. Let's see here. U.S. News, Long Island. See, politics and all that. Now, Metro is what I go to for the New York Post stories, videos I do for Pat's New York City Crime Report. And I've already done the one for this week. I did that before I, came on Pat's show. So it's all done, all put together. It was a quickie. Oh, yeah. And retired math teacher 75 stabbed to death by mentally ill tenant inside New York City apartment. Upstate New York special ed teacher allegedly gave child psychedelic mushrooms. What the hell are they doing? I mean, parolee arrested last week. The blizzard and all that. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll check a special ed joke. Well, that's even worse. You know, I mean, this is a kid who could be of some amount of age, but mentally isn't. So Trista Corey, 33, is accused of doling out psilocybin. I can't pronounce anything. Mushrooms to a juvenile, though it's unclear how old the child was or their relation to the disgraced educator. Well, again, this wasn't one of her students then, was it? Because it says she's a special education teacher. So if it's some child with mental disabilities, age is somewhat irrelevant in the sense of what age level is the capacity of understanding is. So mushrooms were commonly known as magic mushrooms or shrooms, can induce hallucinations that toy with the customer's senses, including their basic perception of colors and shapes, according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse. Corey, a special education teacher at Geneva Middle School, was arrested at 10 a.m. Tuesday in connection with the December 2025 drug distribution, according to a press release from the City of Geneva Police Department. Geneva Police Lieutenant John Van Savage told the Finger Lake Times that Corey was still employed by the Geneva City School District when she allegedly forked over the drugs to a child. By the time Corey was arrested Tuesday, though, she was no longer employed by the district, according to, because usually these teachers, they don't fire them until they're absolutely convicted, and sometimes not even after that. So anyway, Geneva Middle School continues to operate safely under its established leadership, the district wrote. Well, we'll see. But anyway, police issued a city court appearance ticket to Corey. She was charged with endangering the welfare of a child, which could land her behind bars for up to a year if convicted. Well, what if he had some horrific, reaction to it and stuff? The investigation is still ongoing. In April, a teacher in Buffalo doled out THC-laced candies disguised as Sour Patch Kids to his students. The teacher, who was placed on paid leave, claimed he had no idea the gummies were infused with drugs. He just found them and said, the kids might like these. Sure. 2 students who ate the edibles were evaluated at a hospital that same day. One of them, an 11-year-old boy, said he was the scaredest kid in the world and had no interest in taking anything from no one again. Well, he learned a powerful lesson that day, huh? Well, but all because of a teacher he trusted and turned out to be a complete piece of crap. World news. Ayatollah Khomeini's son is front runner to succeed dad as Iran's new supreme leader. Well, how about that, huh? World Cup, don't care. Iran, Ukraine, Ukraine trying, hey, remember us? Yeah, Iran, Ecuador, narco-terror groups. Well, something else is going on, CIA working to arm Kurdish opposition to Iran. Reckless restaurant slapped with $28,000 fine for serving 2 children poisoned drink instead of juice. How the hell does that happen? This is worse than the mushrooms. Yeah. I was checking them there. All right. Reckless restaurant slapped with $28,000 fine for serving 2 children poisoned drink instead of juice. Well, Mickey's, I guess, or Mikey's Italian fusion in Perth was hit with the stiff penalty after sisters Hannah, 12, and Olivia Lemon, 11, ordered juice, but were then given pink-colored citronella torch and lamp solution during a family dinner. The 2 youngsters, believing the toxic liquid was juice, took a big gulp of the tainted drink before quickly spitting it out, crying to their parents that it tasted like it had been poisoned. It was. My daughters just went to gulp it down, and they both spat the cranberry juice out and said it's poisoned. The girl's mom, Michelle Lemon, previously told the outlet about the terrifying incident. I said, "Don't be silly," and took the glass. And I went to gulp it down and then spat it out. The horrified father, Marcus Lemon, immediately confronted the staff and demanded to see the bottle his daughters had been served from. But an employee refused, insisting it was just old cranberry juice. He eventually got hold of the bottle and, following guidance from the Poisons Information Center, rushed his kids to Perth Children's Hospital and Sir Charles Gardner Hospital. My daughter's stomachs were burning. Their fingers and hands were tingling, Michelle said, noting the duo also suffered a headache, calling the entire experience awful. Olivia later said she was scared and thought she was going to die. An investigation was quickly launched following the dangerous mishap, leading to the Italian eatery's former owner, Michelle Angui, and I don't know, losing his business. He was also found guilty of selling unsafe food, failing to exercise due diligence, and 2 additional charges. And Angui's, lawyer added that his client no longer works in the hospitality industry. Oh, well, never mind then. Marcus told the outlet he hopes the harrowing incident serves as a warning to other restaurants. I think the issue for me is more that it drives a bit more rigor in the industry, he said, and that we get to a point where maybe business owners in the hospitality industry understand the accountabilities they owe. Well, yeah, it's like not mix poison with your cranberry juice. You know? I mean, it's just like he was losing his business. Was it possible this was deliberate? Like he lost his mind because, oh no, I'm losing it all. So I don't think we're getting the full story here. Billy Idol says smoking crack helped him quit heroin. It worked. So there you go. If you're, trying to beat that crack habit, heroin habit, maybe try some crack. That's what Billy says. And Billy knows. So, boy, we learned a lot of lessons today. You might want to check that cranberry juice before you gulp it down. It, might be rat poison or whatever the hell it was. Iran. Well, there you go. That's what New York Post has. And that's the best they can do, I suppose. Was she the student or the teacher? Yeah, I know. That picture, she looked really young, but I believe she was in her 30s or whatever. Is she ashamed her son grew up a rat snitch? Jean-Claude Van Savage. Yeah, that's a possibility. Pell he saw Elmo tried to eat him. I'd be scared too. Yep. Cranberry flavored Raid for kids. They're gulpers. Well, yeah. Joe wore spitters or quitters. Well, it was rat poison. Trash Talk Troll. It's pronounced Anguille. Anguille. It's Italian. There you go. Now, if you hear that guy's name, don't drink his cranberry juice. Pell, that day, it was just the hospitality industry. Yeah, where's he going next? You know? Trash Talk Troll Anguille, but you said Italian. And Pell, did he buy it at Monsanto Mart? Well, Trash Talk Troll, standard kitchen protocol. Time the meal so they go to the table together. Couldn't find the right juice. Act quickly. Improvise. Same color. Good enough. More than likely. See, at least in that scenario, it would not be, malicious. It was just, hey, look, I was getting slammed. It was busy. I had to get some cranberry juice from somewhere. So, I got it out of the closet where I, do my, keep my rat poison and stuff. I don't know. Oh no, Chihuahua was thrown from speeding car. Well, we got to know if he survived. Oh boy. Twin sisters. Really? Yeah, I guess. Anyway, twin sisters are facing animal cruelty charges after a 16-year-old Chihuahua was thrown from their car as it traveled about 50 miles per hour on a Florida roadway. While the dog, a 3-pound long-haired named Princess, suffered serious injuries, its owner refused emergency medical treatment for the canine at a local veterinarian, prompting animal welfare officials to subsequently take custody of the dog. Well, shouldn't that have been immediate? I mean, they threw it from the car, didn't they? So, Well, Tracy Fitzgerald, 54, and her sister Stacy, Tracy and Stacy, were arrested on Thursday evening on felony counts. Let's see, Tracy's on the left, and that leaves Stacy on the right. Police say that Stacy, the dog's owner, was sitting in the passenger seat of an SUV being driven by Tracy when the January 22nd incident occurred. While the car moved along a Largo road, Tracy allegedly threw the Chihuahua out the front passenger side window. A witness told cops the dog was thrown approximately 5 feet from the vehicle onto the sidewalk. The witness identified Tracy as the dog tosser, which her sister confirmed. I didn't do it, she did. Which is kind of odd, because, which one? No. It was Tracy, not Stacy. So Stacy's, the good sister, I guess. Court records do not address a motive for the alleged crime. Yeah, who the hell knows? According to police and veterinary records, Princess's injuries included acute blunt force trauma, abrasions that exposed vulnerable parts of her cranium, a bleeding eye, and suspected traumatic brain injury. But despite the dog's condition, Stacy declined emergency medical treatment and life-saving measures. Well, she probably thought, hey, it's expensive, In the face of a recalcitrant owner, the county's Animal Service Division took custody of Princess and began civil proceedings against Stacy because she refused the medical treatment. Okay. Since she's not guilty of the tossing, that's Tracy's problem. But she didn't act on possible life-saving treatment. Anyway, the dog seized is suffering and is evident from the circumstances surrounding the removal that the owner cannot care for them and will not, in the foreseeable future, be capable of caring for the animal. Well, all right. So they civil proceedings again. I would have thought they would just take the dog away from her. And that's pretty much it. But nah, they're going to squeeze her for it. Anyway, attempts to serve Stacy with legal papers have proved fruitless. Though she has responded belligerently to texts and phone calls from a county process server, Stacy reportedly complained about not having access to her dog. And ended one conversation with, "Go fuck yourself." In one text, she wrote, "You the robbers, I'm the copper." She added, "I guess y'all forgot I'm the victim." No, the dog is. You didn't get thrown out of the window with brain damage. The Fitzgerald sisters were arrested Thursday evening and booked into the county jail. Tracy was released after posting $5,000 bond, and the judge ordered that she is not to own or possess any animals. Well, after a night in jail, Stacy was released on her own recognizance. So I guess she just had to do one night in jail. They didn't place bail on her. I don't know. Well, one's like, huh, and the other one's like, and that's that. I guess they're just never going to understand the terrible thing they've done. I mean, look at the cute little puppy. Fortunately, the identity is protected. It suffered enough. But holy crap, a little dog thrown out the window. I wonder if the dog was just like, yapping and stuff, and the bitch just decided, out you go. I don't know. Well, I wonder if they have kids. See, that's another thing they ought to look into, Well, anyway, a 32-year-old woman charged with felony pickle assault. Huh. All right. When officers arrived on the scene, there were pickles and pickled juice scattered across the apartment. And Kaylin Blaine's boyfriend and cohabitant had a knot on the top of his head, where she allegedly had clobbered him with a glass jar of the briny delicacy. Oh, so she didn't just beat him with the pickle. So it's, the jaw, but and she is kind of cute there, and yeah. But obviously, something's wrong there. There's always a price to pay. Anyway, according to police, Blaine, 32, and the 34-year-old victim argued Monday morning about the cleanliness of their Clearwater, Florida apartment. Blaine and the man have dated for 6 years. This sounds serious. And are the parents of a 2-year-old girl. It's really serious. They can't be fighting over pickles. After being accused of making the mess, Blaine reportedly got agitated and grabbed the glass jar of pickles from which she had been noshing around 10 a.m. Blaine then allegedly struck the victim in the head with the jar, resulting in the pickle splatter. Observed by police. Blaine, who declined to speak with cops, was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And look, sure, it's pickles, giggle tee-hee, but it's that jar full of pickles. So it's got weight. It's capable of delivering blunt force. And now he's got a knot on his head. Anyway, and she was booked into the county jail. The pickle jar / weapon was not seized by police. Oh, well, if you don't produce the weapon, she's going to walk. Anyway, Blaine was released from custody on her own recognizance last night. See? And a judge has ordered her to have no contact with the victim. Yeah, well. That's, they got a kid together and all that. But anyway, Blaine, in the company of law enforcement, will be allowed a one-time visit to the home she shared with the victim for the retrieval of personal belongings, which presumably could include the pickles in question. So I guess the pickles were salvaged. They just weren't still scattered everywhere. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Want to be deputy tripped up by polygraph. All right. Yeah, sometimes they got to do that. And say, hey, you didn't do this or that, did you? No. And then they say, it shows dishonesty. Oh, damn. Well, I wonder what it was. Oh, no. Oh, no. While applying for a job as a sheriff's deputy, Gregory Saxton played a crucial role in the subsequent filing of felony, that kind of porn charges against a 35-year-old Iowa man. The criminal defendant was Gregory Saxton. Hey, that's the same guy. Yeah. Yep. not the uniform he was expecting to get. According to police, Saxton recently submitted to a pre-employment polygraph examination in connection with his bid to be hired as a deputy with the Warren County Sheriff's Office. At the outset of the polygraph, Saxton was asked a series of questions regarding person and property crimes. A search warrant application say. Upon the completion of Test A, it was very apparent that Greg did not pass, reported Detective Jason Sadler, who conducted the exam. During a discussion with the polygrapher or polygrapher, I don't know, Saxton sought clarification about a question he had been asked. Is dark web and deep web the same thing? Huh? What followed, police say, was Saxton's admission that he browsed pornography on the dark web. After initially claiming it was normal stuff, Saxton reportedly said he ran into other things and eventually searched for illicit images of teenagers. Saxton estimated doing this less than 10 times. Based on Saxton's reported admissions, investigators searched his cell phones. Where, of course, guess what they found? Saxton was arrested and charged in a 13-count felony complaint with possessing images depicting minors engaged, in the activity. He was freed from custody after posting $65,000 cash bond. And he didn't get the job, so he's still unemployed, and now he had to pay the $65,000. Oh boy, and that's possession. So yeah, it's not looking good for Gregory. Man, there's a lot of those, like the first 48 and stuff like that, where they'll do the interviews and stuff, and they'll just start talking and stuff. Here's the guy who just volunteers, and they were saying, well, you didn't pass the test, but the questions were not specific to this. And he's like, I wonder what it could be. Say, is dark web and deep web the same thing? Whatever the hell, and he just goes and volunteers one thing after another. And like, oh yeah. But it was only 10 times. Well, let's take a look at that phone. You mean now? Yeah. So he just, like it said in the article, he wanted to be a sheriff's deputy, and he did give a lot of help in taking down a creepy, disturbed man in possession of harmful materials. Yeah. So in some weird way, he actually fulfilled the obligation of law enforcement. Life's funny that way. Waldorf 138. These bitches definitely chuck dogs out windows. Look at them. Yeah. They look like they couldn't be bothered. They're like, what? It's just a dog, Mr. Afterthought. Good morning, good sir. Well, good morning to you, Mr. Afterthought. Pellel, going by looks, they probably eat them too. Yeah. One wonders, did they have, more dogs? I mean, they only put the ruling on, what was it? I think Tracy was the dog tosser, and they told her, you can't be around animals. The other one, they wanted to pay for the medical stuff. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I see what you do. Waldorf 138. I have eaten all, they have, they have eaten all the stray dogs. Well, I guess that takes care of the stray dogs. Waldorf 138 and had greens with them. Really? Collards? Huh. Well, all right. Pellel says, LOL indeed. Waldorf has laughing emojis. Pellel says, what seriously gets me is that poor 16-year-old probably had a life of abuse. More than likely. Waldorf 138, that friendship is ruined. Yes. Yeah. Pell, I also feel bad for whatever car had to haul those two chubs. I know. As you can't be anywhere near a vehicle because that's car abuse. Carrying those fat asses. Pell, is a jar of pickles getting you in a pickle? An example of irony? Yeah. See, come on, smoking gun. Couldn't you? That you're supposed to do headlines like that. Pell, I heard the Vlasic is a jerk. Yeah. Yeah, she's probably getting that a lot right now. I made a mistake, okay? Pell, 10 times? Not even a dozen? He's in a web of deep trouble now, know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Yeah. He thought, look, it's only 10 times. Come on. Is it just me? Yes. Well, unfortunately, no. There's others out there somewhere. But anyway, and a salute from Waldorf 138. I think you're Waldorf 138. So that was the idiot deputy. So long, idiot deputy. What's this? Jailed for felony frappe attack. Frappe. Oh, yeah, it's all fancy from McDonald's, McCafe with cream and stuff. Anyway, an ex-con is back on ice after he struck a McDonald's drive-thru worker in the face with a thrown frozen coffee beverage. The frappe rap against Daniel Abramowitz. Yeah, I'm sure I'm slaughtering that. Anyway, 29 is classified as a felony since the Florida man's rap sheet includes a prior domestic battery conviction. See, he just can't stop throwing stuff for punching his girlfriend, the mother of his child, in the face. So he's got anger issues, doesn't he? Police arrested Abramowitz in connection with the January 31st incident at a McDonald's in Seminole. Investigators allege that Abramowitz, maybe that's it. Is that it? I don't know. Was behind the wheel of a vehicle in the drive-thru lane around 1 a.m. when he engaged in a brief discussion with the fast food worker. He then threw a blended frozen coffee beverage, McDonald's frappe, at the victim. The drink struck the 28-year-old victim in the facial region. He really likes hitting the face, causing the beverage container to break open upon impact. The contents landed on the victim's facial region, hair, and jacket. The battery, cops noted, was recorded by a surveillance camera, and the victim identified as Abramowitz as the assailant. You didn't think of that, did you? In addition to the battery count, Abramowitz has been charged with violating the terms of a 3-year probation sentence levied following his 3 felony conviction for stealing and pawning a watch. A New Jersey native, Abramowitz's criminal history includes other convictions for obstruction, probation violation, and burglary. He has served separate 3 and 6 month sentences in county jail. Well, he's going to do it again because he's in violation of the deal. Police summoned to handle domestic sticky bun dispute. Hell, I don't know. Let's see. Domestic disputes that require police intervention are never a laughing matter. Unless, of course, 2 siblings are threatening to kill each other over who ate the last sticky bun. Police responded Monday afternoon to a Williamsport, Pennsylvania residence. Wow, it's not Florida. To handle a domestic in progress. No weapons, no intoxication. Officers were told the confrontation is between siblings over who ate the last sticky bun. Now they're threatening to kill each other. Sadly, TSGO smoking gun public records request have been denied by the Williamsport Bureau of Police. So no further information about the confrontation is available. There's no story, such as the age, identity of the sticky bun enthusiast, or whether arrests were made. All right, so it's kids. You know, they were fighting over this delicious treat. Additionally, specific sticky bun details are lacking. However, if the gooey treats were not homemade, it appears that they came from Mr. Sticky's, a Williamsport favorite that is a short drive from where the siblings clashed. So odds are, it's a good possibility. That's what happened. Mr. Sticky's offers several varieties, including a cinnamon bun topped with our special and delectable cream cheese icing that clearly would be worth fighting over. Well, I would imagine, sure. Hey, what else do we got here? Powerball $1 million man pleads guilty in cop battery case. What an idiot. You win all that money and now you got to go to prison. Yeah. Scientology founder, what a nut. We're sure this Scientology is quite a religion. How could John Travolta and Kirstie Alley be wrong? But as for its founder, the late L. Ron Hubbard, well, the smoking gun thinks that the Dianetics author had a few screws loose. In these entertaining excerpts from his FBI file, Hubbard tries to snitch out a supposed Nazi and complains of being besieged by Cuban communists. But nothing tops a 1963 Bureau memo summarizing FBI file information on Hubbard, who died in 1986 at age 74. Seems that L. Ron liked to occasionally write to the FBI with complaints about his wife and about alleged communists. In one lengthy 1951 diatribe, Hubbard spun a bizarre tale about intruders invading his apartment. He claimed, according to one of the FBI memos you'll find below, that after being knocked out, a needle was thrust into his heart to produce a coronary thrombosis, and he was given an electric shock. Heck, it seems entirely plausible to the smoking gun. Why would a respected writer think a religious guy like Hubbard make up such a demented tale? I don't know. At 1 page 3, good Lord. I don't know. Recalling a heart is 3 pages. I don't know. A plea for red protection. All right, we'll do that one. Well, that's it. It's just this thing. Lafayette, Ronald Hubbard, foreign miscellaneous, presently in Cuba, and has appealed to military attaché here for protection from communists. Subject claims he owns Hubbard Publications, Elizabeth, New Jersey, and is author of book, quote, Dianetics, unquote. Please advise by airgram of my pertinent information. Subject. Wow, I'm really glad I clicked on that. This is boring as hell. So that's it for Smoking Gun. Josh Brolin got busted. He was drunk. It happens. All right, we'll see the Powerball guy. Is that supposed to be a Spider-Man tattoo? What the hell is that? The Kentucky man who last year won $67 million. Powerball jackpot has cut a plea deal to charges that he kicked a police officer in the face during a ruckus at the Florida vacation spot where he went to celebrate his sudden riches. Originally charged with felony battery of a law enforcement officer, James Farthing, 50, has pled guilty to a reduced misdemeanor charge in connection with the violent confrontation last year at the Trade Winds Resort in St. Pete Beach. Farthing, a career criminal who has spent nearly 30 years behind bars. Really? Now, why does this asshole get to win the lottery? Was arrested a day after claiming the lottery windfall in Kentucky. So, police reported being called to the hotel to deal with a tattooed man who was basically trying to fight everybody in the bar while boasting, "I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire." When another patron who was unaware of the unruly guy's actual good fortunes called him delusional, farting, punched the man in the face. When a sheriff's deputy sought to separate the pair as they grappled on a lobby floor, farting stood up and sought to kick the other guest. Instead, he struck Deputy Nicholas Stasio in the face. Farting was subsequently tased when he made a run for the hotel exit. Farting, court records show, pled guilty to misdemeanor battery and obstruction charges. He was fined $1,000. Well, that was going to be easy for him to make, and sentenced to the time he previously served in the county lockup. 9 days. A petition filed by Farting's lawyer noted that he had completed an 8-hour anger management class. Well, Farting's Florida court docket is now clear. He was arrested in February in Kentucky on a felony intimidation charge stemming from a party in his home. Jeez. Where cops found a handgun stashed in the clothes dryer, ammo, marijuana, and drug paraphernalia. As for the attendees, cops noted that occupants of the residence were known felons. So Farting just can't catch a break, can he? Damn it. There's no justice in this world. This asshole gets to win the lottery. You know? It ain't right. It ain't. Waldorf 138. The pickle chick is going to get the nickname the Gurk. Pellel says, that was ice cold, dude. Frappy Bukaki. Yeah. Waldorf, did you see the leader or founder, I don't know, a BLM got caught on camera? Yes, I did. Beating up a black woman in front of a BLM poster. This was at the offices of that chapter of BLM, and they were employees there. And apparently there's 2 incidents. He beat her in the first one on those same stairs. And then I don't know how long later, like maybe a week or whatever, then she starts beating him because he wouldn't give her money for cigarettes. But of course, neither one trusts the police. So I don't think. So yeah. Yeah. A lot going on at BLM. Pellel, guy can be Joey C's running mate. Yes. He could buy some ads. Pellel new flavors, concussion cream and brained berry. Carol Duran, the fat black singer, praise Xenu. Oh yeah, is that the guy? That the name of the super alien prophet or whatever? L. Ron Hubbard's old mom was also accused of animal cruelty for not keeping bones for her dog. Wow. Yes, James Farting. I know it's farthing, but I prefer that. Just makes sense. Laughing emoji. Pellel must have happened during Black History Month. Probably. I mean, that was just last month, so yeah, maybe so. I don't know the dates on the videos. Hey, how do you celebrate? Well, yeah. So anyway, I suppose that does sort of demonstrate some of the problems and dangers and hazards that the community faces, you know? So, boy, they really showed you something. Anyway, Pellel, get it? Old Mother Hubbard. Oh, I'm sorry. Look, I know it's early morning, but for me, it's late evening. Yes. Old Mother Hubbard. Indeed. All right. Well, I guess we tested whether or not Pat can send you over to my channel. And He can. It worked out. It's great. So, you know, just for shizniz and giggles, I just got to show this glorious piece of work of art that was sent to me earlier in the super tip image. I do recommend the Floby. This event does depict actual, real events that happened in my life not long ago because it was getting pretty long. So I mowed it off, you know. It's just the only inaccuracies are the color scheme of the cows, the train poster. Yes, I did see them live in concert way back when, but I do not own a poster. The cows are the wrong colors, and the gas station is not right outside my window, but I do work at a gas station. I'm a gas station. Oh, and the other inaccuracy is the Floby sucks all the hair into the vacuum. It doesn't fall on my shoulders. Oh, that's the big appeal of Floby. They're still available. Look it up and order your Floby today. Floby, I could use the sponsorship. I'll hawk that thing day in and day out. So, you know, let me know. Anyway, I think we've learned a lot about animal cruelty, cranberry juice, what was it, honey buns or whatever, stuff like that, coffee drinks from McDonald's, Powerball winners all tatted up and deciding to kick a police officer in the face. And then he goes back home to his home state and gets busted with weapons and drugs. And he's already a convicted felon. So, he's not going to have all that much fun with the money for a while, you know. Oh, well. Yeah, it worked. So it was a success. Pat's stream turned into yours. Cool. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. Hot former mayors who are easy. Boy. I mean, it's absolutely wrong and terrible, but you see, I'm too old for her. You know, it's sad. She's a local girl almost, but she's going to be kind of occupied for a while, you know. So what are you going to do? Anyway, there we go. This was only a test, but a successful one, I would think. And I do. I really do. Oh, I didn't realize there's another one. So, come on. Oh, okay. I see. That's how it works. One of these days, I'll learn everything. And that'll be the day. All right. Oh, I can do this without being on here. So anyway, have a good rest of your day. Hope you got a kick out of the stories. Here we did it off the cuff. Usually I tried to plan ahead. And even after all that planning ahead and putting all kinds of stuff together, I still stumble around with the platforms, whether it's Rumble Studio or EV Mux, screwing all that up, screwing up OBS, even Super Tip in some form or fashion. Oh my God. But at this point, look at it as part of the charm of the show, isn't it? Isn't it cute? Sure. Oh, wait, I got another little comment here. Take it easy. That was cool. Well, thank you. I'm glad you got a kick out of it. And we'll do it again. We will. I got to go to bed. I will be up early again if I can make that, because I'll be doing the Overlord DVD Pop Culture Breakdown show over at the Overlord DVD channel. And we'll talk about, you know, the Warner Brothers thing and stuff like that. Some other things I forget. But, you know, stuff. And you might want, if you're interested, you can check that out. And then maybe I can squeeze out another live stream sometime in the night. Yeah. But yeah, doing these earlier, like I did, I could squeeze in, just do it and position an hour before Pat's show. That might be a good thing because there's more people around to watch it. But then again, now that I know that Pat can fade into the Doug Nailsin Show, well, I got lots to think about, you know? Anyway, again, thanks for watching, and we'll do it again soon.
Shutting up every mouth without a single word, dropping every line with a ball of turd from the doo-doo bomb killer. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo bomb killer. The detective retired and drank himself to death. The scientist quit and stayed home till the last breath. One can only take so many peanuts and corn. It's all enough to wish you were never born. Like a doo-bomb killer. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-bomb killer. Till her last breath. One can only take so many peanuts and corn. It's all enough to wish you were never born. Like a doo-doo bomb killer. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo bomb killer. The doo-doo-doo-doo-doo bomb killer.
And now commentary from our very own Trixie Turner. Trixie?
Doug panties can ride up, but thongs don't because they're already up there.